The Vietnam War was a conflict in Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. From the 1st of November 1955 to the fall of Saigon on 30 April 1975. It was the second of the Indochina Wars, and a major conflict of the Cold War, while the war was officially fought between North Vietnam and South Vietnam. The North was supported by the Soviet Union, China, and other countries in the Eastern Bloc, while the South was supported by the US and anti-communist allies. This made it a proxy war between the US and Soviet Union. It lasted almost 20 years, with direct US military involvement ending in 1973. The conflict spilled into the Laotian and Cambodian civil wars, which ended with all three countries becoming communists in 1975, after the Geneva Conference in 1954. The country gained independence from France, but was divided into two parts. The Viet Minh took control of North Vietnam, and US assumed financial and military support for South Vietnam. The North Vietnamese controlled Viet Cong VC, a South Vietnamese common front of militant leftists, socialists, communists, workers, peasants, and intellectuals, initiated guerrilla war in the South. The People's Army of Vietnam, PAVN, engaged in more conventional warfare with US and Army of the Republic of Vietnam, ARVN, forces. North Vietnam invaded Laos in 1958, establishing the Ho Chi Minh Trail to supply and reinforce the VC. By 1963, the North had sent 40,000 soldiers to fight in the South. Use involvement increased under President John F. Kennedy, from 1,000 military advisors in 1959 to 23,000 by 1964. Following the Gulf of Tonkin incident in 1964, the US Congress passed a resolution that gave President Lyndon B. Johnson authority to increase military presence without a declaration of war. Johnson ordered deployment of combat units and dramatically increased American troops to 184,000. US and South Vietnamese forces relied on air supremacy and overwhelming firepower to conduct search and destroy operations. The US conducted a strategic bombing campaign against North Vietnam and built up its forces, despite little progress. In 1968, North Vietnam launched the Tet Offensive. In 1969, North Vietnam declared the Provisional Revolutionary Government of the Republic of South Vietnam. US ground forces had mostly withdrawn by 1972. The 1973 Paris Peace Accords saw all US forces withdrawn and were broken almost immediately. Fighting continued for 2 years. Phnom Penh fell to the Khmer Rouge in April 1975, while the 1975 Spring Offensive saw the fall of Saigon to the PAVN, marking the end of the war. North and South Vietnam were reunified on the 2nd of July the following year. The war exacted enormous human cost. Estimates of Vietnamese soldiers and civilians killed range from 970,000 to 3 million. some 275,000. 310,000 Cambodians, 20,000 to 62,000 Laotians, and 58,220 U.S. service members died. The U.S. destroyed 20% of South Vietnam's jungle and 20 to 50% of the mangrove forests by spraying over 75 million liters of toxic herbicides, a true ecocide.